Hello, how are we doing today? Let's see how camera looks. That's fine. Which means I can close this extra piece of software that I have open and hopefully make life easier for my poor laptop. Hi Lapras, how you doing? I think making this map has made my life so much easier in a lot of ways because it means that I have a really good color test for the camera when I'm doing stuff, because you can't just use a white sheet of paper, right? But these are all my colors, so I can just see how those look. Okay, so today we're working on the Halloween stickers. I did ink these without you because I wanted to do a coloring sheet. So I've scanned that. Ooh, what's for lunch, Lapras? I've scanned this and I'm gonna try and figure out how to make a coloring sheet that you can do digitally too. So with layers, I tried to do that a little bit last night, but my brain was just too fried to figure it out, I think. There's a way to do it. I know there is. I just need to figure out what it is. Sometimes you just need to take a breather so that you can understand what's going on. Mac and cheese, good lunch, good lunch. Good food all the time, really. Okay. I also have a stream gift to open. I've gotten permission from the gifter to open it without them here. So I can do that maybe in a little bit, maybe now. I don't know what the right answer is there. But here, you aren't going to be able to see all of it because it's big. But look, there's a package. Wow. And I did it without doxing myself. I'm so smart. Let's see. Is there anything else I need to say? My desk shipped. That's really exciting. So later today, I'm probably working on getting that room cleaned out some more. I'm not sure I'll be able to finish it today, but... Hi, Harley. How are you doing? And yeah, I'm always shrimping when the shrimp check comes up. Every single time. It's a problem. Yep, I feel that. I don't even have a proper desk. Like I was saying, my desk shipped. I bought a new desk to hopefully help with like streaming setup and stuff, but I usually use like a lap desk on my bed, which means my upper back is like so shrimpy that I don't know that it can be fixed. I'm trying though, I'm trying. So hopefully once I get that set up, I can do more physical art and stress my laptop a little bit less. This is still stressful for it, but not as bad as last stream where well, hopefully, knock on wood, my laptop reset itself twice last stream because the way that I was capturing my iPad just was a little too rough for her. The poor girl. She's tried so hard. She can't breathe. I think I'll tape this down and then I will open the stream gift unless somebody has a different opinion about what I should do. I'm not planning on doing a background on this just because it makes my life easier when I'm turning it into a sticker sheet. The white background helps. Although I do think that's going to make doing the ghost a little bit more difficult. We're going to have to work with shadow instead of lightning. since it's a white background. Okay, the tape's just gonna roll away. Bye. And we'll see. Usually I ink once I put the tape down so that I can adjust if it's too close to the line that I put down. So we'll see if I made things too close to the edge. It's not that big a deal, really. I can untape it to finish painting and retape it or whatever. This is just so that the paper doesn't warp a super huge amount. Okay, ghost butt is in the right spot. Good, good. I did change this pumpkin a little because he was too high up when I inked it. Oh, I'm so perfect. Look at that. That's gorgeous. I'm so smart. Okay. I'm down with that, Lapras. I'm perfectly happy for people to just lurk. I do that plenty on my own. One of the tags that I have on is body doubling, which is a neurodivergent thing where sometimes it's easier to get stuff done if you have somebody else just being there. And I use streams for that like a lot. So I'll put a stream on in the background and my brain will be like, oh, now we can do some work. That's okay then, because somebody else is doing work. So no pressure to join in. I'm always happy to chat to people who want to chat, but you don't have to. It's all good. Okay, we're going to open this, which is, I know what it is, but it's still very exciting. This is a stream gift from AstraKitty, who's my very first stream gift. A very kind gift. Can you hear me tearing it open? Here we go. Try and put it up close to the mic and see if that makes a difference. Okay. Let's see, I get a gift recipient from the Amazons, just in case. But this is a little brush set that's calligraphy brushes. Ooh, it comes with a pack too. So cute. So it's a little pack. Yeah, brains, they sure do things, don't they? And sometimes they decide that the doing that they want to do is not. Look at all the pretty brushes. Ooh, that's a little, just a little wonky. I should be able to wet that down and then dry it a certain way and it'll fix. But I was really excited about the big brushes. I do have a bigger project that I hope to do once I get my desk set up. And that will be super helpful for like big washes and stuff. Then we have a variety of calligraphy style brushes, different sizes. These do have, I'm forgetting the right word, some sort of medium on them to make the brushes stay pointy until you use them. So I will need to wash them a little bit to get that gunk off. Usually it's made so that it won't color stuff too bad, but this one, like, I can tell there's some red in it. If you're traveling with brushes, you can, and you're worried about your brushes changing point, you can use like some really basic hair gel to keep them in a point like that. And keeping the little plastic doohickeys that come with them is always a good idea for storage. But I'm super excited about using these. I did have a calligraphy brush like this that I got when I did a little bit of a Japanese calligraphy. Oh my gosh, this is so stuck on there. There we go. I did part of a Japanese calligraphy class in college. And so I had some calligraphy brushes just sitting around because I bought materials for the class. This big one is so exciting. Open sesame. There There we go. Look at that. I'm so excited about these. I'll need to wash them, so I probably won't use them today, but I'll give them a rinse and play with them. They'll be so helpful, I think, because I mostly use round tip brushes, which are like this, so they don't have quite as fine of a point on them as calligraphy brushes get. So you can do similar shapes, but you can get really way more precise with the calligraphy brushes, and I'm excited to mess with that. Yay! Happy dance. I'm so excited about this. Thank you again, AstraKitty. That was very kind of you. Very much appreciated. This guy I'm going to need to groom a little bit. But he's just for big washes, so that's not a big deal. Okay. Exciting. Okay, setting those away. Let's see, other stream news. Miss Black Mr. Blue, hello. Thank you for the follow. Good to see you. I did get the sewing sticker sheet completely set to send to print. Depending on how far we get on this, I may order those like this week, or I may wait until this one is done and order them all. I don't get a special discount based on how many different sticker sheets I order, so it's not a big deal which way I decide to do it. But I know for sure that I want to do an individual sticker of the bird scissors that we did, and I don't know that any else from that I want to do separate. But for this one, I'm thinking, depending on if I like them once I finish them, I might do the skull here and the hat here as individual stickers too. We'll see once we finish. Some days I don't feel like I exist. Does that count? And Twitch could just be weird sometimes, honestly. Let's see. Brushes. I am going to want a teeny tiny brush because I'm about the details. Let's start with these and see how we go. I have my color map for my palette here that we did when we filled this up last week. I have used it since then. And I think that the colors I chose were mostly good. I think I need another proper green, because I just have like the sap green, a straight green. But that's a problem for another day. Okay, where do I want to start with this is the question. The smart place to start is up in the corner so that I don't put my hand in wet paint. But I'm also really excited to do the skull. So maybe I'll save that for farther in so that I don't do the thing I'm excited about and then run out of steam. I guess let's start with the pumpkin. That's a nice softball to start the day with. And I can hear my laptop struggling. The fan is going so fast. I do have some other colors in this that I'm going to use a little bit. This one, even though it looks like really red, is actually very nice orange to use. So I'm definitely going to add that in. And this green is a nice bright one. This one is a little bit more of like blue green, which is pretty nice. Oh, I was thinking I might do that cauldron sticker too. I can show that again. Look. Dig through the pile of arts. Try and find stuff. Let's pull out those scissors while I'm thinking about it. Here they are. So this scissor for the sewing stickers, I was thinking I'm going to do a separate sticker of, because that's the one that people have been most interested in, really. I was thinking I might do a sticker of this guy too. I do have another cauldron on the sheet, but we'll see. It also depends on how much money I want to spend at once. Because I do use a small sticker business, so. Yeah, watercolors in elementary school were always fun, for sure. Thank you. I was really pleased with how those turned out. I should rearrange things a little bit over here, where I am going to dump paint on things that I don't, or I meant water, not paint, on things that I don't want water on. That I want to keep separate. Okay. Just so you can see what I mean with that red color. So that's the pot. I mixed these colors on my own with the watercolor paint. And this is that color once you water it down a little bit. So it is red, but it's a very nice kind of like red orange to add to our pumpkin here. To use as like a shade or just texture. I do like that. And I have a bunch of little pumpkins, and I think I'm going to do them different colors. We do have like one of those knobbly warty ones here, which I think are usually yellow. Are they usually yellow or green and white? Am I remembering right? I look it up. There's the instructions to do that thing that I couldn't figure out. Yeah, the one I'm thinking of is like yellow and green. So let's start with a bright yellow on this sucker. And I really haven't decided what colors I'm doing for anything yet, honestly. We're just going into this without a plan and doing what feels right. I say without a plan as if I didn't already ink all the line art, but you know what I mean. And I think doing one that's like a kind of creamy white might be good. Yeah, exactly. One of the things with sticker sheets too is that you need to figure out where the color balance is. Acrylic paint I find difficult to work with too, just because it's so opaque that I find it difficult to figure out where the line is. But watercolors are a pretty good starting point, really, because things dry pretty fast too, but not so fast that you can't mess with it. I went way outside the line with that. Yeah, I think so too. And there's also the other candles next to it that we can do different colors too. But as I was saying, one of the things with color sheets is you need to have some sort of color balance, and you can't always really I can't always really conceptualize that right off the bat. Because these are probably going to be in the same order on the actual sheet unless the company tells me that I put some stuff too close together, which I might have. I tend to pack things in pretty hard. I think I want that one to be orange too. Because the cat probably should be black, since it's Halloween-y. Black's probably the right answer. But I can also do whatever I want because it's my art. So there you go. We'll see. Maybe I want to do a yellower. That's not a real word, is it? More yellow. Oh yeah, I think pink toe beans and like a bright green eye, like greeny yellow. It would be fun if I pulled out some highlighters with fluorescent so that they glowed under black light for the original art. I don't know if they can do that for the sticker. I don't think so. Hi Sparkle, how you doing? Okay, I'm gonna lay down a yellow for this, but we're gonna go over it with some orange later. That'd be cool to do for the pumpkins too, actually. Some of the stuff that's in highlighters, the colors will fluoresce under black light. Good, glad to hear it, Sparkle. Which you can use on purpose in some stuff, so. Good, good. I hope you have fun. Very vaguely dry-ish. Perfect. Not as dry as I wanted you to be, but that's okay. need to stop messing with that and let it dry all the way before I can do what I want to do with it. I think smaller brush for this guy. Oh, congrats! Finnegan's such a nice shiny. Oh, cool. That's fun, Sparkle. Congrats on that, too. I have music playing. It's pretty quiet, I think, but it's there. Yeah, it's always hard to find which tab is making noise. Okay. I probably want a smaller brush than that. This is my problem. I need such small brushes because I like doing tiny little things. I can't help it, it's fun. I'm just way too into details. And I stayed up too late last night. I was so close to finishing my book, and there was a waiting list for it at the library, so I decided to just stay up and finish it, which is maybe not the smartest choice I've ever made in my life. Oh, interesting. I haven't had any problems with Firefox and Twitch lately, but it definitely doesn't always play nice. It may be if you have ad blockers on, sometimes Twitch there's a hissy fit, but usually you can turn them off and restart the browser and then go to Twitch and then turn them back on, and it's fine. There is one specific ad blocker that they really don't like, though, which is one specifically made to stop Twitch ads from showing. Yeah, it's frustrating. But in the eternal capitalism war, they definitely try to mess with that. Adblock Plus is usually pretty good. uBlock usually works, but sometimes still throws a hissy fit. But there was one for an add-on for a while that was specifically Twitch ads, and they really don't like that one. I wonder why. It's absolutely wild that I've seen like the downfall of of the internet in my lifetime. I saw the rise and the downfall already. Just like it's just turned into a marketing machine. Nobody wants to use that. But like I remember when the big sell of DVDs was that they wouldn't have like the other movie ads at the beginning like VHS did. That didn't last very long in a number of ways. But I also don't think I ever saw any ad on a DVD or a VHS that actually made me buy a movie or want to buy a movie. It's almost like it doesn't actually work. Yeah, for a while they let you skip. Like first it was no previews. And then it was some previews, but you can skip. And then you weren't allowed to skip those either. Absolutely obnoxious. Good. That's the right way to do it. I'm at that point in my life where, like, if anything shows me an ad, I mute it and look away. Like, you aren't going to win. I refuse. And there's also a couple of brands where I won't buy stuff because I find their ads so obnoxious. It's just I think that current marketing moguls don't understand how much spite my generation has. Ooh, I have to sneeze. Hang on a second. Ooh, excuse me. Yeah, same, Harley. So I support a number of people on Patreon. I also run a Patreon. And I do pay YouTube for no ads, which they're raising the price of again soon. But I make sure to watch specific people that I want that money to go to. Thank you. Which, I don't know. The reason that I paid for it in the first place was I was watching through the O.J. Simpson trial, and the actual trial videos were like really quiet, and the ads would come on and deafen me. And I was like, I think that this is worth, it used to be like $10 a month to not be deafened every 30 minutes while I'm watching this huge thing. And I just stuck with it. Soften up these lines a little bit. Yeah, that's better. I think I'm trying to get too high of a highlight on that. That's better though. I do want darker green to do some spots on this guy. one's a bit too blue. Sorry, you can't see what colors I'm mixing. Once I get a desk, I'll actually be able to have a proper setup where you can actually see everything I'm doing, hopefully. I need to get a new cam arm too. How's that? It's a little muddy, but I think that'll go well. And go over that with something brighter. I don't know. Remember when they started putting ad machines on freaking gas pumps because you couldn't escape? Absolutely ridiculous. What world we live in. The big draw of cable TV at one point was that you weren't going to see ads too. Never believe somebody when they say they aren't going to put ads on their product. That's my suggestion. Because eventually that money's going to sing for them. Actually, I was thinking about the ads thing this morning because there's a little like matchy game that I play in the morning because they have like a daily challenge to I don't know, just fill the time and get my brain going a little bit. And the game started out really good. Like there weren't a lot of pop-up anythings. I paid for no ads because it was only like $3 or something. And I was playing it a lot, so it was worth it. But as time has gone on, they've added more pop-ups. They've added the little spinner to raise your in-game currency by watching ads every time you do something, blah, 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 blah. It's like it was a good game until you did all of this. I don't know that I'm going to play it anymore. I just hate pop-ups so much. They all startle me. Let's see if this is too blue. Yeah, I think that's fine. Oh, that's good. I don't know much about that. Like, I've heard the name before, but I don't know much about it outside of that, I guess. Mine is I forget exactly what they call it, pie match or cake match or something like that, where you have a little puzzle where you have to put the different kinds of cakes together and the slices make a whole cake and then it disappears off the map, kind of a thing. I like matchy games. But it definitely is one of those games that tries to get you to buy the in-game currency. Yeah, I really like it. Well, I did really like it, and then they kept adding more and more ads and stuff to it. But I don't know, that's kind of the inevitable rise and death of these app games. Because, like, if I do like an app game and I think that it's well made and they aren't, like, forcing stuff on me, I will spend money on it because I think that's worth it for me to give the devs a little bit of money for something that I'm having fun with. But at a certain point, it's like, no, you're using me as a cash cow and like an ad machine, and I'm kind of over that. Thank you. Goodbye. Also, I'm like, I cannot play gotcha games. I really can't. I don't have a good sense of self-control, and I'm like aware of that enough that I know that I shouldn't play stuff, but they still get me every once in a while. There's like a stupid little anime dating app that I play occasionally that has gotcha events, and it took me a while to realize that I was just like, I cannot start these events because there are ways that you can do some of it for free, but it isn't possible to really finish it doing only free. So I would always think, oh, I can just start this and do the free part and it'll be fine. I'm incapable of sticking to that promise. What is it called? Checking. Ikiman Sengoku. This one. The main character travels back 500 years into Sengoku, Japan. And so all of the romance options are warlords, Japanese warlords. I do find it very amusing, but I've had to stop playing. I did finish all the guys that they had in it originally, and then they added more, and I'd come back every once in a while. But yeah, it's very pushy. It is. I would not suggest it to people, honestly. I don't know that I'd suggest it to me, but every once in a while you just want a little cartoon man to fall in love with you. I started one of the newly added uh, stories, and I never went back to it. I don't. What's that character's name? I don't even remember. The one who's like super into art. Yeah, I've done Mystic Messenger before. And I think back in the day, this was ancient. I think I actually 100% at that where I got all the different endings and everything. Because I am a crazy person. I say that with affection. I'm just very often a completionist. I did find that one encouraged my bad sleep habits at the time because you get different messages and conversations at different times of day, right? So I definitely would like half wake up and see that there were messages in that and then wake up and read all of it and then not go back to sleep at like 2 in the morning. But that's again a me problem. Yeah, that's fair. It was a very time intensive one, I think. Yeah. I don't know. I'm proud of myself that I have started being able to actually recognize those patterns in myself and cutting it off at the pass, so to speak. Because I used to not like get it. I was just like, oh, well, everybody plays it like this. This is fine. And it's like, yes, it's designed to be played that way, but that doesn't mean it's healthy. But so many games and stuff are doing more like gambling style stuff than they've ever done before because it's the new business model, right? That always bothers me. It's the same kind of thing as ads where it's like, this isn't really ethical. I don't know that I can trust you with anything else if you're going to rely on those kind of business practices. And again, it's one of those things that you have to, excuse me, I bumped the table. It's one of those things that you have to learn to realize both about yourself and about the world in general. Not necessarily fun to realize, but it is something that you should. It's not always pleasant to realize either. I do definitely have like an addictive personality, and that's something I've had to come to terms with. But I get like super into something and I'll just go hardcore for it forever and not realize that I'm actually ignoring other things that are important. I've gotten better at that as I've gotten older, but that's mostly just because I recognized it, so I try and keep myself out of those situations now. It definitely took a while to realize that properly. Oh, I was going to talk about some stuff for stream ideas when I get my desk in a proper setup. There's a better way to make that sentence, but I'm not going to worry about it. Because I had an idea I need to start at a different point in this story. So when I was really depressed, which we've talked about before, one of the things that I did was a bunch of origami. So I made little those origami stars. There's a Tumblr post that's gone around since like 2013 about the little stars. And I started doing those. I have a whole bunch of paper for them still. I made a bunch of those just to put in a jar, and I made some into like ornaments. So I found the jar recently while I was cleaning stuff up, and it's way fuller than I thought it was, but it's like a big jar, like I forget exactly. It was like a gallon or more jug, 3 liters, something. It's huge. So it's like half full at this point. But I was thinking that since I still have all that paper, once I get a stream set up where you can actually see me and see my surroundings, I could have the jar there and have a channel point redeem to make a star to add to the jar. And then maybe at the end of the year, make ornaments out of them and give them away to viewers, if that seems of interest. I don't know. I just thought that that was like a cute little thing to do, like a community thing, and then have that go back to the community at the end of the year. I think I'd do the year starting at my streamiversary or affiliate anniversary, maybe. Yeah, and I have so many different papers that you could pick different colors. I also have some that I cut to make like way tiny stars, so the piece of paper is like this long. Because I like those as filler in the ornaments. So you could do a little bit more to have the tiny star just because they take more effort, and pick different colors with the channel point redeem. But I don't know if we want to add them all into the big jar or if we wanted like a separate jar for stream specifically so that we could like have a visual on how many stars we made that year. And that's just like me spitballing. If anybody has good ideas, they're welcome to share. I thought that would be a fun little interactive thing. I was also thinking about maybe in a similar vein doing like a stream art per year kind of a thing, where I add little doodles to one sheet of paper for things that happen on stream or what we worked on and stuff like that, and then at the end of the year do a print. Because I'm very into like actually tracking things, because you really don't realize how much you've been doing until you see it all laid out a lot of times. I definitely don't. Yeah, that might be a good idea. I do have a like kind of mason jar that I was going to use for paint water, but it's just like way too big for that. That's smaller. That might be a good size for that. I'm probably going to do more cleaning today, because my other thing that I had this evening is probably canceled, not confirmed canceled, but so I'm probably going to do more cleaning. When I go do that, I'll take a picture of the big jar and post it on Tumblr for sure, and probably other socials if people want to see it. I'm most active on Tumblr like all the time, but I also don't like advertising that I have a Tumblr, because I'm like that. I'm actually myself there instead of the social media correct person. I do still have some glitter paper too. I'd probably charge more channel points for that one, just because they hurt my fingers if I do too many of them. Oh yeah, that's a cool idea. I like that. Yeah, raffle for a sticker, or do one thing I'd like to do is do like little sleepover streams sometimes. Just kind of do like a late night stream where we're all just kind of like hanging out and painting our toenails or something. Maybe watch a silly movie in Discord or something afterwards. Because I would like to do more streams than just 2 a week. I feel like that's not really enough. Although I have so much other stuff going on. Getting Patreon stuff done around the streaming schedule is proving to be a little bit difficult for me. It is currently 11:24 in the AM for me. Alaska has its own time zone, so it's not like you can be like, oh, it's the same as Portland or something. So I get it. I think I've made that center bit a bit too yellow. Yeah, Alaska, the biggest state, it has its own time zone. Hawaii does too. There's Hawaii time, but Alaska, it's just us. Always just us. We're just 1 hour behind Pacific, 4 hours behind Eastern. Made this too wet again, and it's not doing what I want it to. I have a problem, and that problem is I can't control myself. I got too excited about doing water blooms, and I forgot that's not what I'm doing. Do you want these bits to be lighter? So I'll add some yellow in there. There we go. I like that better. All right, good luck with chores. I believe in you. You can do it. I will do my best. That wasn't the brush I thought I was picking up. That works though. At a certain point, when all of your brushes have the same handle, you kind of forget that they're different. They're different sizes, but they all still are super similar. I still think that these greens need to be a little bit darker. Which I think maybe mixing this color in will work. Just a little bit muddy. I think that's closer to what I want. I also, way back when I say originally as if I haven't been threatening to do this over a decade. When I first started getting stuff to possibly start streaming during the pandemic, I did buy a bunch of stickers and put them on magnets so that I could have a magnet board behind me and people could switch the stickers out. I do need a bigger magnet board than what I currently have, but that's pretty easy to fix. I'd probably get a whiteboard or something, just so that I can have like notes and stuff about what to talk on stream and stuff. Because I always like think about things to say and then I don't write them down and then I forget. Which is just like a life problem. It isn't necessarily stream that's the issue there. There's a reason that I constantly have a notebook filled with things to do, and that's because otherwise I forget. I think the yellow made this more interesting. Spending so much time on these little pumpkins. Yeah, I don't do as well if I have something digital to remind me. I do a lot better if it's physical, like if I physically wrote it down. Makes such a big difference for me. But I do also have like a personal Discord that I use as notes. See, it's my journal basically. So I do write in it every single day. I do a thing in the morning. I pull a tarot card and write down, you can't see me, I'm making notes with my fingers. So I pull a tarot card every morning and I write down the description in my journal, and then I have my to-do list and everything there, but I've made it into like, I need to do this or I feel like my day hasn't progressed the right way, and then my brain quits on me. So, which I don't think is maybe the best way to do that, but it does make me feel better and it makes it so that I'm a lot better at recognizing what time has passed. I can also look back and see what exactly I've accomplished, which helps so much with depression brain. Because depression brain really wants to lie to you and say that you've never done anything in your life. But if you have a whole list for the past like 3 years of what you have actually accomplished, you can tell your brain to fuck right off. But I have, so the way I split it up is I have just to do, which is like what I'm going to do that day or want to do that day. I try to be a little um, lenient with that because sometimes you start a day and you're just like, I do not have the brain power to do any of this today. But I have what I want to do that day. And then I have a continuing to do underneath that, which is like long-term projects so that I can put just a plus if I made some progress on it instead of checking it off the list so that I can see that I am actually working on something consistently. And also it serves as kind of like an extended to-do list if I finish what I was planning to do and still have more energy to get stuff done. I've found it very helpful. Definitely not for everybody, but just gotta find stuff that works for you. I was trying to use, what's that app called? Habitica for a while, but again, I just found that I do a lot better with that if it's written down. It feels more real to my brain. Habitica is a really cool app though, especially if you're trying to do healthier habits and stuff like that. I don't like using the word habit very much because like ADHD and autistic people don't form habits the same way neurotypical people do. So I think that using that word kind of gives a false sense of what's possible, if that makes sense. So I think that a lot of times it's less forming habits and more having a list so you don't have to think about it, which helps a lot with executive dysfunction. Gosh, I went so out of the lines here. I put too much water on the paper. That's easy to fix after the fact, though, when I'm cutting the stickers out, because I do that by hand. Well, by pen on my iPad. Okay, I think doing the vines there and then we can move on. Guess let's use up this color that I mixed up. Maybe for the skull, for the wax strips, I want to do different colors in it. So like have the actual candle be one color, then have the drips be different colors. That sentence did not go the way I intended, did it? Have the main candle be one color, and then the rest of the wax be different colors to indicate that different candles have been used over time. Maybe. Although that might get a little bit muddy. We'll see. I didn't do the stem for the sky. I put way too much paint on that brush. That's better. I should really start pulling out the year of lyrics pieces that I did for the ACS music so that when it comes on I can just show it off. I haven't done much with those since I finished the project. But I did do a fair number of ACS songs for that. Hey Flack! Thank you, you're loved and appreciated too. I think it needs a bit more pigment right here. It's better. Oh my gosh, it's been an hour. What? Time flies when you're painting pumpkins. Hey Stars, how you doing? Man, I really think I nailed this one like right off the bat. I finished that one the fastest and I love it. I love that little warty guy. Look at him. He looks so stupid. I love him. I freaking love the warty pumpkins. They're so ridiculous. I think I want these bats to be like a really dark purple. I'm doing well. Yeah, I like it so far. I'm pleased. We do have like a lot more to go. I was thinking like, oh, maybe I'll finish this today. I don't think that's happening. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I also my desk shift, so if I finish earlier and then I eat lunch and then I can go work on cleaning up that room some more so that maybe I can get like a proper setup going. How exciting would that be? So then I could just leave stuff. It'll be great. Well, there's still a fair amount of work to do there, but we're making progress. So, okay, let's do bats next, just because those are going to be relatively simple, because I want them to just be like a silhouette, basically. I think that brush is too big. I need to get some more. There we go. That one's good. Let's do this guy. I don't know why I call everything Guy, but I sure do, don't I? Let's do... I think do purple underpainting or black underpainting. I think purple underpainting and then do my lunar black that kind of it granulates a lot, which I really like the texture of. And I played with that actually in the dream journal that's going to go up for my patrons on August 3rd. Self promo, baby. I actually used the granulation of the black to a pretty cool effect in my opinion. I'm really pleased with how that came out actually. You can really, or I can really tell the improvement in my painting skills by how I did that, which is great. I love it when you can actually see your progress because like as an artist, yes, practice makes you better. That's a fact, but you really don't always notice that you've gotten better because you've been staring at it the whole time. So you really don't see those drastic changes until you are trying to do something that you didn't think you could do and then all of a sudden it's fine and you're like, oh wait, the practice made me better? It made this easier? That sounds fake, but okay. Although I do think that just telling people to practice isn't a very helpful advice, just for the record. Just saying practice more and then not telling people how to do that is not super helpful. That was more water than I intended here. Add more pigment to match that. There we go. So I'm going to do that purple and then let that dry and then do a black over top. And let me explain what I was talking about with the granulation because I know that's a little confusing. But you can see on the palette map that we did, there are some colors that are really smooth and there are some that kind of split up. I don't know how in focus that's going to be. Hopefully it's good enough to see. But you can see like the individual little blobs of color have kind of split apart from each other instead of creating a smooth gradient like this one did. So the black that I have does that a lot, and I like the texture, but it's not always what you want. When you're doing something, the cobalt blue teal does that quite a bit too. And it's just how the pigment and stuff is suspended in the binder and how it reacts to that. The brand that I use, Daniel Smith, for the most part, I do have other brands that I use, is kind of known for their granulation, which sometimes is really frustrating and sometimes is really helpful. So like part of that is that the colors split too when you're using them. So like I mixed this color and you can see that it's kind of split a bit. It's not a consistent color like this one is, which I used a different brand to mix, which is this guy right here. But you can see how the colors kind of split. So there's more green here and there's some blue and there's yellow along the edges and stuff, which can be frustrating and not everybody likes that, but I like that. So I use it. I'm realizing that I don't know which direction the colors in candy corn go. Is it white, yellow, orange at the bottom? Is that right? I'm gonna look it up. It's white, orange, yellow at the bottom. I would have gotten it wrong if I didn't look it up. So why is there candy corn in other colors? Those are ugly. There's like Christmas corn. I don't think anybody... See? Christmas corn. What? I don't think anybody likes candy corn well enough that we need to make it in other colors. I know that there's Thanksgiving too, where there's like brown. Yeah. What? That's not more appetizing than the original. And I do like candy corn. Don't get me wrong. Oh my god, there's an article, top 21 candy corn flavors. The real answer is none of them. I do like candy corn, but it's not like good. It's just... Yeah, it's difficult to describe. It's really just really sweet. But some of them have like a light vanilla flavor to them. Yeah, weight loss ads, blah, 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 blah. I always get weight loss ads on these things. Fall flavors. Oh my gosh. So there's like a whole bunch of different flavors. I don't understand why we need to do this to ourselves. So there's caramel. Add more sweet to the sweet flavor, I guess. Caramel apple. Chocolate covered caramel. I don't get it. But candy corn does have like a really specific texture because it's a little bit gritty. And I don't really know European sweets to compare it to. I guess from what I've seen, it kind of looks similar of a texture to tablet, like in Scotland and the UK, where it's kind of like a little bit gritty, kind of like weird fudge, but it's much stiffer. Honestly, it's probably mostly like if you mix granulated sugar into candle wax, if I'm being honest with myself. I'll still eat it, don't get me wrong. But it also doesn't, like the basic ones really don't have that much flavor. It's just like light vanilla and sugar. If I'm smart, I would do the cauldron before I do the candy corn. Fine, we'll be smart. Yeah, it also really depends on brand, because some of them do better than others. Do I want to make the cauldron like a bronze color? That's a question. Because we are going to have orangey pumpkins here, which will balance out with that. But I can also make these candies any color that I really want. And we can probably match whatever goop I want to put in the cauldron to the potions. Maybe? But it's so small that I don't think I'll need to balance it out too hard. Maybe I do want to do like a blue-black just to set off with the orange right there. Yeah, because I'll also have the fire there. So I think that's a better answer. I've answered my own question. First, let's do the spoon, because why not? Now, there is another project two projects actually, that I'm thinking of doing on stream after we finish this. One is kind of a weird experimental thing. I got a print from Trisha because she has a channel point redeem where she'll send you a random, well, not fully random, she'll send you a print that she chooses. So I got one of those and I need to frame it, but I want to do something weird with the matting of it. Because I kind of want to design and do some embroidery on it that matches the print itself and put it around the edges, which will involve punching holes and doing some weird stuff. And it's not something that I've done before, but I think it'll look really cool. And I kind of just like playing around with things. So I'm thinking about that. I also have some friends who are having a baby in October. And I want to make them a bunch of stuff. So I mentioned before that I bought yarn to make them some baby blankets and hats and booties. And I bought yarn to make a quilt for them. But I also want to do a piece of wall art. And I think I've kind of settled on an idea for that. But I haven't fully decided how exactly I want to do it. So the nursery theme that they're planning on is a Hello Kitty one. And I kind of want to do like a alphabet involving Hello Kitty in it. There are like posters and stuff available out there, but I think having some custom art for the wall that is dedicated to baby would be nice. But either I would do that in smaller, like each letter a square of paper, and then scan that all together and make a print of it for them. I wouldn't sell it just because I don't really feel like battling with Hello Kitty folks. But I could put that together digitally and then order a private print of it, and that would be fine. And send it to them, or I can do a big original piece and send them the original. Or I could send them all the individual squares and let them figure out hanging, but that seems kind of rude. They have enough to figure out with a new child. So that is something else that I think I can do on stream. At some point, I'm going to need to do some hard thinking about Patreon versus stream content. I think that if I change the project that I'm doing on Patreon, because I've been doing the Dream Journal project for over 2 years at this point. I think if I do something where I can have some content on Patreon and like have my patrons vote for what I'm doing each month, and then have some specifically for them, and then another project specifically for stream, that'll make my life a lot easier. Because right now I'm like doing art on stream and making content related to the stream stuff, and then also having to do 2 full art projects that I can't do on stream because I think that's not fair to my patrons who are paying me for exclusive content. So the joys of being a creator. Yay, this is so fun. I do legitimately enjoy doing both sides in some regards, but trying to balance that is proving to be more difficult than I expected. But I think maybe I'm coming to an idea with a new project because I'm feeling like I'm at the end of the dream journal. I have 2 more I think I want to do, and that'll bring me up to 24, which is over 2 months or over 2 years, excuse me, because I've been doing about one a month, with a couple breaks in there around life events because boy, have I gotten kicked in the teeth a few times by life in the past year and a half. But I think if I can find a way to marry the stream and Patreon content, that'll make stuff a lot easier and it will take a lot of the stress off of this. In general. I think I want to do this in a Payne's Gray. I also think that I probably want a bigger brush for this. Here we go. But I'm thinking about doing something where my patrons get to choose like a color theme for a month, and then I'll do content on both based around the color that they choose. I also have some other like kind of personal projects that I want to do that stream is probably the best bet for. Like I want to do some little embroidery pendants and maybe some tapestry pendants to sell in my shop, like original pieces of art as jewelry kind of a deal. So that's on the list. I also have a series of mini frames that I want to do something with. I haven't decided if I want to do watercolor or embroidery or maybe combine the two for stuff. Once again, being an artist is just having too many ideas all at once and not having enough time. Just really what life is. Hate to break it to you. But I did get a really cool vintage frame off of eBay that's a hanging chain with 3 frames attached to each other. And I have a vague idea for what I want to do with that, but I haven't decided like the medium or anything. Because again, I really don't have time to do it at this precise moment in time. So maybe I shouldn't be thinking about it as much as I have been, but me trying to get my brain to not think of things is very rarely successful. But I'd like to do like a little sky triptych kind of a thing. Not just sky, but so have the top one be the sky and the middle one be kind of like a little landscape, and then the bottom one be underground. Thought that would be cool. And I think that will lend itself well to 3 different fun-sized prints, which is also something I have to think about. Keep adding that new content, baby. I do need to decide if I want to put that pomegranate up as a print. I don't know that I do. I don't hate it, but I also don't think it's a great example of incredible art skills, which I did feel like the cherry was. I also think that people more want like original traditional art as high quality prints versus digital trying to look like traditional painting. I just threw a paintbrush. I didn't mean to. Maybe I want to make the potion like super pink. I think that'll be a fun color. I do need to let the black dry before I do that. Well, black, Payne's gray, I say as I add more water to it. I do want to mess with that fire some more too. Oh, no worries. It's good to see you, and you never need to worry about having to go do something else or being quiet. I totally get it. Good luck with whatever it is you have to do, and I'll see you around. Aside from the chained frame, I also have 3 tiny little baby frames that I thought would be cute for little embroideries or maybe tapestries if I start doing that. I don't have a proper tapestry loom. That's actually one of the I think it's the most expensive thing on my throne wish list right now. So I'm not like expecting that anytime soon, but I can make a very basic tapestry loom, and I got stuff to do that with. Well, I think I did. I don't really know what I'm doing with that, so I'm kind of making it up in a way that I think will work out. I basically got some wooden picture frames, and I'm going to use some polymer clay to make the thread spacing device. Then I'll just have to do the shed by hand, which is fine, especially on things that small. That won't be an issue. And we'll see if I can manage to do that. It's been a while since I did tapestry because it really was not my favorite. I had to do it in college for my art minor, which was my focus was fiber and weaving specifically. But I enjoyed floor loom weaving a lot more. I did a bunch of napkins. Those were fun. Mostly scarves though. I love playing with like colors and textures in scarves, and that's like my favorite thing to do. And I did do tapestry twice for projects, but I think that I'm in a different place in my life now, and I'll enjoy doing that a lot more than I did then. Because it very much felt like somebody else forcing me to do that, which is true because I was doing that for a class. But I think now I'll do better with that. And I think I'd do better with that streaming than I might otherwise. Just because it's very fussy work. It's very small and focused, and it feels like you made a bunch of progress and then you tamp it down and all of a sudden you've made like 1/8 of an inch and it's nothing. But I think if I'm doing smaller ones, that will do better too. Because I really want to do minis, like mini, tiny little baby ones, um, with leftover embroidery floss from my other projects. I've been saving all the scraps from the Advent book to hopefully do that with. I think that'll be fun and interesting, and just generally a good use of leftover materials. I think limiting the color palette to scraps will be interesting too. I don't know. Again, I have so many ideas all the time, forever. If I can ever get, because I do have a floor loom now. I inherited my mom's when she passed away. And that's down with my dad. But if I ever do get that up here, I'd love to do some weaving streams. I think that's a cool thing that I haven't really seen in the arts and crafting tags before. I do poke around in there a fair amount. What if I let this dry and then use like a really weird color to do shadows with? I wonder how that would look. Or I could just shade it with blue and then it will look like Bi Pride a little bit. I do love the Bi Pride colors. That's not even the flag that I use, but it is one of the prettiest flags. For sure. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry, and I am going to take a quick break to run to the bathroom and do some back stretches and all that jazz. So I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. I came back right when a song was ending, and so I was like, oh, did the music stop? No. Also, Spotify Shuffle is not really doing its job today. It very much has been playing all of ACS right now. Okay, looks like it's gonna mix up in a bit. Good, good. Not that I mind just listening to ACS. I just feel like a mix is probably better. And also means that I'm less likely to try to sing along. Okay. Guessing you're still, yeah, you're still wet. Okay. I'm gonna start on the candy corn while waiting for that to finish dry. Not that the candy corn will be especially difficult. I just need to remember it's yellow at the bottom, not orange. Yellow, not orange. Yellow, not orange. So I think I'm gonna do is kind of wet on wet and let it wander around for the yellow and orange, and then I'll go back over it once it's dry to make the edges a little bit sharper. Or maybe I'll just like it once it's dry and I'll leave it. Who knows? We'll discover together. Yellow on the bottom, yellow on the bottom, yellow on the bottom. Did I do that yellow? No. This one. Making that like a lot more pigmented than the other ones. Whoops. Well, maybe when I clean today I'll listen to my audiobook. I've been going through the Percy Jackson series, which I mentioned that I was probably going to do that before. I don't know that I ever updated here. I'm on book number 4 now. It's not my favorite, I won't lie. Like, it's not going to end up in my usual rotation, I think. But I can see why people like it. It's just not personally for me. It very much reads like it was written in 2006, which it was. So there you go. But it does feel very, what's the right word? Casually misogynistic, I guess, in a way that's appropriate for the era that it was written and released in. It does feel like it also has that I don't remember the right name for the trope, but that like what is the name for that? That's gonna drive me nuts. The new boy savior kind of a thing. It's like you have a female character that's been doing whatever for ages, and suddenly this boy comes along and is better at her job than she is, kind of a thing. Which is fine. Like, I don't think that that makes it a bad book. It just borrows me, or borrows me. Face, what are you saying? Bothers me a bit. Yeah, I definitely think that because I graduated high school in 2006, so I was very um, entrenched in that culture at the time. So I totally can see that in there. Um, there was also an instance in, is it the second book, where the R word is thrown around and it made me like cringe. Which again, accurate for the times. I definitely am not trying to throw stones there because I also was entrenched in that culture. And I get it. But it is so like maybe if I had read it around that time, I would have had a different reaction to it. But it also feels like there really aren't enough female characters that aren't like evil, if that makes sense. It's like there's main good girl, and there's second in command good girl, and then there's evil hates me, but good at their job girl. Kind of a thing. Which, again, since it's based off of Greek mythology, that can also be blamed on the source material and not just the fact that it was released in like 2005 to 2008 range. Okay, I think those look like candy corns. I do think that there are a couple of places that I want to clean up the lines once it's a little drier. Let's work on this guy some more. But one of my other favorite series, I say favorite, I guess I do like it, but it again has some of those issues. Fablehaven by Brandon Mull is one that I like imprinted on, and I really like. I read that as a vague adult. And it does have some of those same problems for sure, where the female characters and stuff are very stereotypical in the way that they act. But one of the main characters is a girl, and she's more arguably the main character. But it's also like very not so subtly racist against Indigenous peoples. And because I'm an adult, I see those, right? Where you might not if you were a kid. I do like that series, and I think the world building is very good, but it definitely has its issues. So just to be clear, I'm not like panning this series at all. Yeah, from what I understand, the author, Rick Riordan, has done a really good job of listening and adapting things for his audiences. Not that I'm a major part of the fandom or anything, but I do live online, so I see stuff like that occasionally. Which I think is a bigger hallmark than most other signs, is an author who goes, "Oh, I didn't understand what I was doing," or "I didn't mean to mirror these parts of society and make certain people feel unsafe or whatever. So I'll adjust and moving forward." Because, like, again, I totally understand why it's like that, because that's an era of the times, man. Era of the times? That doesn't make sense. Okay. My brain and my mouth have disconnected from chat. Thank you. Yeah, for sure, for sure. Uh, yeah, I'm sure we're both thinking of one person in particular. There's definitely some people who really do not take constructive criticism well. Like, oh, this thing I did was harmful? Well, you're harmful. Versus actually realizing that you can make a difference. What's weird is, so I've been renting these audiobooks for Percy Jackson from my library. And what's weird is they have, or had, 1, 2, 3, and 5, but they didn't have 4. I had to get it from the other library that I have a card with, which I thought was very strange. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they, like, their uh, agreement with that one lapsed, but not the other ones? I don't know. Yeah, it's pretty popular. Like, even my local library, which is a bit on the smaller side, has 5 copies of the ones that they do have, and there's still a wait list. So I'm not sure. Or maybe all of them were checked out, so Libby just automatically sent me to the other library. I pay Queen's Library in New York $50 a year to have a library card with them too, just to fill in some gaps since my local library is a bit smaller, as you'd expect in Anchorage versus New York. But also, I think since there are a number of New York libraries that let you do that in the system, I think putting some money into some areas of New York for their library system is not a bad life choice on my part. And really, I've gotten my money's worth out of it for sure already. And I started it in January, I think, maybe late December. Because they definitely had more Agatha Christie than my local library did, too. Which, speaking of problematic authors, woo! I do like her mysteries. They're very well done, but oh boy, the racism and the anti-Semitism in those books. Certainly a book of their era, and it's very obvious. I've been going through a bunch of the Poirot series because I watched the like PBS and whatever television show that started in the late 80s, early 90s. I watched through all of that this year. And I've been going through the books too, just that while the TV series was very close to the actual book series, I still like to experience them, and it's different. Um, but yeah, I've done other Agatha Christie's before, and they are very, very much an object of their time. Because there's one for sure that has changed titles, I think 4 times now on the US market because they were all different flavors of racist. And so they needed to change them when the times changed, which is a bit impressive. It's a good book, but yeah, like it's a good mystery. It's a good murder mystery, but hoo boy, this one little simple thing that the book was titled after is continually problematic. There are so many Poirots to choose from. The most famous one is Murder on the Orient Express, which has had multiple full-length movies made about it. Second is Death on the Nile, which there was a 2002 or excuse me, 2022 or 2021, I'm not sure, movie with Gal Gadot in it as the quote unquote main character. Really, the main character is Poirot. We all know that, but there are a lot of options for Poirot. There's like 70 books. If you remember any of the plot line, I might be able to remember the title. We'll see. Okay, I think Gravestone next. I'm just gonna check the bottom of my palette to make sure that there isn't paint on it before I set it on here. Okay. And I've gone through a couple of those audiobooks because they did a series for the audiobooks where they had the actors from the show actually do the reading so that their voices match. And I found that a lot easier to listen to because with some of the old-timey language, my brain doesn't always process it very well, so it helps if I have a familiar voice that I can understand, especially after watching, 72 or whatever episodes of Poirot. I'm a little familiar with the actors' inflections and stuff, which helps. I may add some little watercolor grass after this is dry, like right down here, coming from the dirt. I did do this while they were both wet, so they're going to bleed into each other a little bit, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I may try to do like a little mossy texture on this guy with some paper towel and some watercolor. I think we've reached a point where I need to decide what color the candles are going to be. I shouldn't pop my lips like that. That's probably really loud. So we do, let's see. Oop, that was probably loud, sorry. I think if I do like kind of red, purple, blue, I can balance that out by doing the candy bowl red a bit. But I could also do like, I don't know, a yellow? Nah, I don't think so. I think we're gonna have enough yellow with the light up in the jack-o'-lantern that it'll balance out crossways there. I might want to do a pink one because we're gonna have pink potion probably in this one or maybe this one, and so one of those candles being pink will probably translate well. So maybe I'll do pink, red, and blue. And then do purple for this main one here. Decisions. I think I'm just gonna pick a color and go for it. Because really, the color balance doesn't matter that much, it's just stickers. I overthink everything. I'm just like that. Although the blue will look really nice with an orange for the flame, since they're complementary colors. And maybe, after I finish these candles, want to start working on some stuff down here so I can see how it balances out and then fill in the colors in the middle a little bit. Because we do have a fair amount of green up with the pumpkins. I'll need to figure out how to balance. I can do the ghost green. I think that would be fun, like an ectoplasm color. That might be interesting. I like that idea. Okay, purple, and then maybe I'll do a magenta for the other one. Guess what? I'm accidentally doing by pride colors again. It's not really an accident though. Maybe I just need to sneak some sort of pride colors into all of my sticker sheets from now on. Because I did, for the sewing one, I did lesbian color buttons. That's really dark. Which I will pull out in just a second to show off. Yeah, shrimp check, thank you. Gosh, that was so smart of me to put in. Okay, which is the extras folder? Not you, not you, you. I keep rearranging things in my accordion folder because I keep pulling things out to make content for the interwebs. Here we go. These buttons are lesbian colors. One of the lesbian flags who, what's the name of the original person who made that? Lydia something? And then Maya Kern did a rearrangement of the colors to put them in a more aesthetically pleasing order. It should be in here somewhere. Let's play. How many pride things have I made? Yeah, I really like the colors in that flag. It's very pretty. Here it is. This one. And they're just fun colors. Oh, I put that upside down. Haha. But yeah, Maya Kern is the one who did the colors in this order. Who is very much in the Tumblr sphere. Maya Kern is. She's the one who does all those skirts. That's probably what she's best known for at this point. And I own a number of her skirts. She also did a webcomic for a while, Monster Pop, I think is what it was called. Yeah, I love the skirts. They have changed like texture over time, so I don't know that I'm going to get any more because she changed manufacturers and I don't like the fabric as much as the older ones. But they're so fun. I have the bee one and let's see, I have Bones. I have the desert sky, like sunset one. I have strawberries. What else? There's more than that. I have a rainbow mini skirt, but they are too mini for me to be comfortable in. I have too much leg. I don't feel comfortable showing that much of it. That's too dark. Yeah, they are not cheap, which is reasonable, but also means that they're difficult to swing sometimes. I did get one of her shirts too, and my brother has a couple of them, which are nice, but the sizing for those doesn't really work for my body shape, so I probably won't get another one. But they work great for my brother. He has the Dungeons & Dragons one and the Cherry Blossom. Oh, that's the other skirt I have, the Cherry Blossom one. And he has a recoloring of the Cherry Blossom one, which is the Sycamore coloring, the black and red one. The patterns are super cool, for sure. And honestly, I had just bought a whole bunch of I say a whole bunch of, like 3 um, new Maya skirts like right before I broke my ankle last October. And it was a godsend because I had a huge splint on my leg and none of my pants would fit over it. So if I hadn't have had those skirts, I would have been so screwed. It was so funny because Maya's partner Devin actually sprained their ankle at the same time. So we were like ankle buddies. Which, man, that break for me could have been so much worse. It really wasn't that bad at all. I didn't even need to get like a proper cast or anything. I got to just go around in a walking boot, which was so good. But man, crutches suck. I am not fit enough to use crutches. Especially not when you have like an extra 10 pounds strapped to your foot. I honestly think the crutches were more uncomfortable than the actual break for me. Not gonna lie. Although actually, it made me very grateful for the way my house is built because we have like really narrow hallways. So if I was about to fall, there wasn't very far to fall. It's kind of like the house equivalent of bowling with bumpers. My ankle does still pop more than it ever did before I broke it, but that makes sense. I'm just kind of a snap, crackle, pop person to start out with. I think it's been 2 hours. Okay. Me, why do I feel like my brain's melting out of my ears? Doy. I don't know, something about streaming that I guess I didn't really expect is that while it does make me focus harder, like, I'm not as liable to get distracted by my phone or something. That also is like way more exhausting to me. So like even though I'll only have been working for 2 hours, I'm just like blasted in the brain. Which makes sense, but it's one of those things that you don't really think about until it happens. I also don't know what I'm gonna eat for lunch today. Probably ramen. I don't know that I want to do a huge amount of shading with the candles. I think they're simple enough that I don't really need to go super hard with it. Maybe I want to do like a little halo of yellow around these guys. Just to kind of show the luminosity of the flame. That'll also be kind of a pain for doing stickers with. We'll see. Mostly caught up on work for this week though. Oh, I remember something I was going to tell you guys. I added another bit emote that got approved last night. I will finish doing these little flames and then I will switch over to the view where I can show you. I added a celebrate one. I'm still working on the animated emote. I'd like to get that done this month, but I don't think that's really going to happen. I don't think that's at a point where it's feasible for me to push through that. But I am still working on it. Here we go. It is in this layout. It'll celebrate in the middle there. Yeah, so that's all of the tier, sub, and bit emotes done for what we have unlocked now. More will unlock as people hit those actual goals for the bit ones. But yeah, progress is being made. I do only have one slot for an animated one, but I've kind of been working on two just because I had two different ideas. I'm not sure which one I want to add first. I have like a dance one, like a bop kind of one, and then I have a hugging, like squishing a heart animated one. And I think both of those are good and will get use. I just haven't decided which one I like better. Yeah, there you go. I do also really like the mess one that I added, which is right underneath celebrate, um, to the left of the smoochie, which is fun. Because that is so often how I feel, just holding back all the files. Like, ah, don't look, it's fine, I'm still organized. Yeah, got that done yesterday. I got so much done yesterday. Okay, let's see here. How dry are you? A little bit, but not a lot of it. His eyes look a little wonky, but I think that's okay. I think they started out a little wonky. I guess I need to decide what book I'm reading next. Physical book, because I finished mine last night. There is a book that I started a couple months ago and I really have not continued on, just because it's like a book that's smarter than I am, and I'm having problems like parsing it when I'm reading, so I don't feel particularly motivated to continue it. I'm not saying this to be like disparaging to myself or anything, it's just a high like theoretical sociology thing, where it's just taking a lot out of me to read it. It's called The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, and I'm not going to remember the author's name off the top of my head. But it is definitely a difficult read for me, so I'm not feeling particularly motivated to continue with it. And while I would like to read it, I also don't think that forcing myself to do that right now when I'm also doing a whole bunch of other work is really a healthy choice. I do want to read, what's the full name of it? I'm not going to remember. I can look it up. I have the technology because it's on my to-read list on Libby. Up. The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks, that's what it is. Which is about the person that a bunch of the cells for cell research came from, and she never really got credit for it. It's like the story behind that, and it's something that I vaguely know about, but I don't know enough about it to really explain or anything like that. So I think that would be a good read for me. And it's a cover that I actually recognize because it's one that we stocked at the bookstore, college bookstore that I worked at, which is fun. I read another one of those because I recognized the cover from working at the bookstore. I read that last month. The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime, which was interesting. The author has some fun opinions about how his work has been interpreted. So we stocked, theoretically, the book is about, it's a fiction book about a kid that has serious developmental disability. And the author doesn't like that people read it like that, I guess. His little quote was, "It's just a book about being different." It's like, maybe if you're going to use that to sell a book, you should go in whole hog. Just a thought. I don't know. I read his little blog post about how he wished that they hadn't used the word Asperger's on the cover of the first printing of the book. It's like, well, that ship has kind of sailed, buddy. You kind of got to lay in that bed. It was like an interesting read. It was one of those that was like really a page turner, but definitely has some issues with it. I've read so many books this year. I'm so proud of myself. I've been reading like a lot more and watching more new stuff to me, instead of just rewatching Hell's Kitchen 35 times in a row every year, which has definitely been a thing I've done for the past couple years. I just like Gordon Ramsay. Yeah. The cover is pretty distinctive because, or the cover that we stocked when I was working, because it has a cutout of a dog on the front of it that got caught on other books. So it was like regularly damaged book. Which was just like, well, it's an interesting cover design. It's not a good one for people who need to stock books. I'll put it that way. But yeah, the first printing of the book had the term Asperger's used specifically to describe the main character of the book. And apparently the author just really didn't like that people were taking that seriously, because it's very clear that the character has some sort of autism spectrum. Like he has vocal meltdowns and stuff like that. So I don't know. I just feel like if you've written something and a bunch of autistic people go, oh, well, one, that's us, and two, that's not a very good way of representing us, you maybe should listen and learn instead of saying, well, it's just about being different. Because there are definitely some bad stereotypes in it. Yeah, for sure. It was, I don't remember the year that it was printed off the top of my head, but it was a while ago. I worked at the bookstore for like 6 years while I was in college, and after a little bit after I graduated. So it would have been pre 2013 that this book was stocked as a textbook at the store I was at, and that was when it was a paperback. So it probably was released in like 2009 or something like that. Do I have my spreadsheet up actually? Because I have that information in my spreadsheet. I do. I've been keeping a spreadsheet of all the new media and stuff that I've been doing, and I put years that things were published or released so that I can compare that at the end. Let me see. There it is. 2003 it was released. So again, that will change with time. Yeah, 2003. So, but definitely an old school view. And some people just, again, like you said, aren't good at it. But I read it expecting to be mad at it, if I'm being honest. Which I was not exactly disproven. So, actually, I think a book that I read this year that had good representation of diversity like that is Into the Drowning Deep, which was a suggestion from Harley from Ice Community and on Tumblr. The author's name for that one is Mira Grant, but it's a pen name for somebody else whose name I'm not going to remember because it's not what I wrote down for my spreadsheet. That one was really good, but it is a horror book. So, yeah. Okay, Lepris, have a good day, and thank you. Yeah, that's right. Thank you, Stars. Shawnee McGuire. Which I don't think I've read any of her other stuff, actually. I think it's just that one that I've read, but it was really good and has one of the big main characters in it is autistic, and I think does a good job representing that without being mean about it. That's one where I borrowed it from the library and then purchased it on my own because I wanted to have it all the time. Got it as an audiobook too. Oh, I don't know about those ones. I don't pay, like, I know Shauna McGuire from being around Tumblr. Like, that's really my point of reference there, which is maybe not a great thing to admit, but it's true. Okay, let's add the black to the bats over here. Urban fantasy. Okay, that's pretty cool. I do like Fae stuff. She seems cool. Like I don't think I actually follow her, but she's in the sphere, you know. So I see her stuff from time to time, and she seems like a cool person. I tend to not follow authors, big authors, I guess is what I really mean, mainstream authors on Tumblr, just because a lot of them do a bunch of answering asks, and I find that exhausting to look at. Looking at you, Neil Gaiman. I follow some like indie authors, Joy, obviously, and Natalie Ironsides, although I haven't read one of her books. I did read the one of her partners put out, Sacred Gender. Author name Aria Serpent, I think, which was pretty clearly not aimed at me, but I still found interesting and made me rethink some of the terminology I use for tarot and stuff, which was good. Because a lot of that stuff uses feminine and masculine energy as kind of a base, and I always kind of felt ick about that, but I didn't really have alternatives for it. But that's something I need to think about and work on what I actually mean if I say that, which I don't use very often, but she suggests receptive and I forget what the other one was instead, which makes sense to me, at least. Again, not that I'm a great source or beacon of knowledge in those spheres. I just find it interesting. Although I do kind of want to do an oracle deck at some point. I had an idea for one that I really liked, and then I took too long to do it and somebody else did it. Which again, curse of being an artist and having too many ideas. Oh, I don't know that I mentioned that I might stream on my birthday. That's a new development. Or new-ish. Usually, my birthday's on a Sunday this year, and usually Sundays are the day where I'm like modding and helping people, other people on Twitch all day. But one of my usual streams that day is not going to be around, so I might be able to do a stream then if I want to. I don't know what I would do, but something. Maybe just sit around and chat for a bit. Okay, do I want to add some mossy bits to that gravestone? I think yes. I'll start just by doing this with some color. I think maybe I'll go back over this with some colored pencil to give it a better texture too, but that's a finishing touch, not a right now touch, especially since my colored pencils aren't out here with me. And I don't want to go up and get them. Yeah, the playlist is just going really hard with ACS today. Not that I'm complaining, mind. I think I maybe should have done more of an underlaying with some brown. Yeah, I think a little bit of brown goes well with that. I guess if I had thought this through better, I would have moved the camera and zoomed in on the top half so that you could see better what I was doing. But I didn't think that through. I will try and remember that for next time, though. Oh boy. I think I do want to add just like a little bit of grass in the bottom here. Which again, I probably will need to go over in colored pencil just to make it pop up a little bit more. So I'm putting it over a pretty dark gray. Let's see, is there anything else I want to poke at right now? I don't think that I want to do halos around the candles because it's going to make the cut line between everything muddied and gross. So I think I'll leave them as they are. I think this is a good stopping point for today, because the next thing that I would do here is the skull, which is going to take a fair amount of time, and we're nearing on 3 hours anyway. I also should get out of the way so that my brother can make lunch, and I should eat too, for that matter. So make good progress today, I think. I do think that this warty little squash and the candles are my favorites so far. But I do like the way the moss is shaping up on the tombstone too. Or lichen, I guess, is what it technically is that grows on gravestones. I'm not a botanist. I just put paint on things. Let me see who else is live. So I can go drop everybody off somewhere. I'm just gonna load Twitch on my phone for a second because that's gonna be faster than my poor laptop. I don't have anybody doing art right now. Well, I guess Pren is live. I haven't hung out in their stream for like years and years and years, but they do cool art. So maybe we'll go bother them. I will need to get this up here so I can see what's going on. I am very glad that my laptop didn't overheat and shut itself down like it did last stream. That was really nice of it. And I appreciate that. Okay, I did mute that tab. That was not what I told you to do. Let's see what they're working on. So I'll just leave this tape down and then work on it next Friday. On Tuesday I will be doing the food paint challenge again, theoretically digitally, if I can get my laptop to do that correctly. Fingers crossed. They did, the artist who posted the reference photos for that posted the reference today actually, and I'll give you a sneak peek because I already updated it for next time. So it's these little tomatoes and a knife, so that'll be fun, I think. Okay, so Pren is a 18 plus stream. Just as a warning. I'm getting a pre-roll ad, so I'm not sure exactly what they're working on. But they do some cool stuff. And I used to hang out there back when they were a much smaller channel. It is a bigger channel, so you can lurk pretty easily. I'm gonna wait until their ad break is over before I raid. But yeah, I guess I can show off my stream gift again while we're waiting. This is from AstraKitty, and this showed up some calligraphy brushes, which I'm excited about using as watercolor brushes and not really calligraphy brushes, but they have such an interesting shape in comparison to other brushes because they go to such a fine point, but you can still use them as like a round brush, which I think is really cool. So I'm excited about those. We might do some sort of loose test with those at some physical art stream, just to play with. Maybe after we finish this, I'll just do some loose abstract stuff just for kicks. Let's see, so I will be back on Tuesday, like I said, with the food paint challenge, and we'll keep working on this sheet until I finish it on Fridays. Hopefully I can get a good amount of cleaning progress done today, and that way I can have my desk set up hopefully soon, because then I'll be able to do more streams and if I have the time around other stuff, because I'll have an actual setup where I'm not in the way all the time. So that'll be good. Okay, ad break over. So let's go bother them and see how fast my laptop catches on fire trying to run a stream and this at the same time. Okay, I'm not gonna do a raid call, but if you want to toss an emote or something in, that's cool. If not, that's cool too. I usually ditch when other streamers raid, just because if I go in, I feel bad leaving. So I totally get it if you don't want to join in. That's fine. No worries. And if you don't want to talk, that's fine too. But thank you for being here. I'm going to switch to the ending screen while I do this. Thanks for being here. Thanks for chatting with me. I think I'm getting better at continually talking while I stream, which I'm pretty pleased about, because that part's difficult for me. And I think we made some good progress on this sticker sheet today. So thank you for being here. Thanks for showing up and chatting. Take care of yourself above all else, and I'll see you on Friday. On Tuesday. It's Friday today, brain, please. Anyway, see you next time.